And good morning and welcome. Today is Thursday, August the 11th, 2022. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, bringing you this edition of Things You Might Have Heard. Thank you so much for being a part with us. Popping up early, it's 5:50 a.m. Central Time, so it's still relatively early. So as you're preparing for your day, thank you for tuning us in on your Facebook or your YouTube to get in a couple news stories. I believe it's 8 stories. I didn't count very well. It's fairly short for the rather longish times we're doing a lot. And it's going to be kind of a brief thing because we're going to basically kind of gloss the headlines for today's work. It's been a really rough day. We had some technical glitches to get this thing going, but we're here. We're glad we're here, and we want you to be hopefully glad we're here as well. Let us know what we can do for you by going to our main website, which is conversationproject.com, and stopping by the partnerships page, stopping by the sponsorships page, seeing what we got going on and seeing the replays. In fact, it's so weird that we fired off the newsletter that's supposed to come after this beforehand. So people may have already clicked on it a few minutes early looking for a video that is now happening. Now, hi, everybody. Nice to see you. My name, Jay Cleveland Payne. This thing, Things You Might Have Heard, is your news side piece source. This is a tertiary news source that gives you news that fills the gaps of some of the bigger stories are out there and some of the bigger names out there giving news. So we're not Anderson Cooper. We ain't Rachel Maddow. We're definitely not Tucker Carlson, but we try to do our best to give a little bit to that community. Check out our website and see what we can do for that. Let's get into some news, shall we? First story of the day is the biggest story of the day, although not the most conversational story, because the next story coming up had a lot of eyeballs to it for the reasons that are obvious. But this one right now is what everybody is talking about across all the news channels, and that's President Donald Trump pleading the fifth in this deposition with the New York Attorney General. Now, President Donald Trump, of course, famous for saying that only criminals plead the fifth, mob bosses plead the fifth, people who have something to hide plead the fifth. Yet all the people involved in his administration, plus himself, have now pleaded the fifth. This is particularly dealing with his New York City businesses. This has nothing to do with anything post his election or even around the time where he came down the escalator and said Mexicans were rapists and killers. This is basically all the stuff from prior to that, saying that Donald Trump and the Trump Corporation, Trump Company, cooked the books for basically all their properties, making some things seem like they're worth less, so he got tax breaks. Some things seem like they're worth more, so he got better deals in loans and businesses there. You can believe or not believe his reasons. He believes he's being he's targeted as a witch hunt by the FBI and the crooked people, although it's been proven that the person that wrote the warrant for the search of his house, the person who executed that warrant as the FBI agent, and Donald Trump himself basically put this in motion while he signed a law that didn't exist in 2018 that allows this to happen. So he put the ball in his court at the beginning of his presidency to do that thing. But of course, this is about New York City. The New York City thing is basically about money and his businesses and what he and his family are doing with the businesses. We shall see how this plays out. The Attorney General, yes, has pledged to take down Donald Trump as her campaign issue. So that does get some red flags there on her end. But remember, it's Donald Trump. He says only guilty people plead the fifth. And yet he is just now, again, he actually does a lot pleading the fifth. Nicole Lorraine Linton, nurse who caused horrifying LA class crash, worked at 6 hospitals despite profound, and they put caps because that's what the tabloids do, mental health issues. Read this article. This is a story we actually did not post inside of what we had going on for our stuff. We didn't actually get this in there because it came in as a flash and then sort of disappeared, and we didn't have a lot of updates to this. But this is another sort of way of keeping the story going. Actually, when this happened, there was like 2 other car crashes that happened around the same time. So this one got blocked after that one. But this is a story about a nurse, a person who was distressed, who was just all sort of whatever. It caused this really serious car crash a few days ago, about a week or so ago. Read this story. I can't give it justice in my rambling of the outline. Read this story and go deeper into this woman and the situation that happened. Meanwhile, Evansville, Indiana house explosion kills 3, damages dozens of homes. This is the second highest, and these were some very big numbers for engagement on the past day for this one and the prior story. So read this story as well to get the details on what happened in that one. Like I said, it's going to be kind of a gloss over issue. We got a lot of things going on, but the big deals from these stories basically come from reading the details. And we appreciate all you guys who are clicking the links and reading those stories. So that's helping out a lot as well. But read those stories, check them out, and see details for those. Angela Yee left fans gagging after revealing why she's leaving the Breakfast Club. So a few days ago, Angela Yee of the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne God and DJ Envy, that's been going on for like 10 years. It's been a staple of radio for urban hip hop audiences, syndicated in major cities across the nation. The Breakfast Club is where hip hop guys go to talk. It's where Kamala Harris went and beefed with Charlamagne on being black or something like that, whatever he was into that day. This is a staple that basically for people who believe radio is dying, it's really sort of like the local radio. People are dealing in on the national stuff. The Breakfast Club is basically breaking up, as Angela said, with a cryptic message on social media. She broke down deeper into it, and it's pretty simple. iHeart's given her own syndicated morning show. She doesn't need them guys anymore. She's going to do it on her own, plus whatever gaggle of random folks they put into those things. They're basically boilerplate at some point in time, but I don't know if this is a bigger thing where the Breakfast Club itself was breaking up, or they just wanted to break up the band as if can and start going on doing their separate things, and it was time to do that. We shall see if Angela Yee will be as popular as her and her compatriots with the Breakfast Club. We congratulate her for keeping a good job and for doing the business, but we will see how the Breakfast Club alumni, I guess, will have full serve after this actually comes to fruition. DC movies hit with major blow after Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, takes over as advisor. This is something that's a little bit wonky, a little bit weird. Now, we know that the whole DC expanded universe is essentially dead, and what's killing it a lot is the actors in the DC extended universe. We talked about Ezra yesterday, how the Flash is dealing now that he's dealing with actual burglary charges. The Rock has said in a tweet a few weeks ago that the DC expanded universe is now the Rock's universe, or essentially it is all about him and his upcoming movie coming up. That's coming up. And now what's happening is that the person who's basically running the expanded universe for DC is bowing out, and they've hired in Dwayne Johnson because he does movies, action movies, and some superhero flicks as the advisor to kind of run things for that. What's that mean? Well, it does mean the Black Adam universe is essentially going on. Black Adam is now maybe the most important, popular, most ever person for the expanded universe for the DC world, and it may be nothing but Black Adams going on back forth. Who knows? We'll see. It looks like the whole shebang is just falling apart because Marvel did a thing, so DC decided they'd do a thing. Didn't quite pan out as well. Ambitions probably, but mostly just luck, timing, and to be honest, the actors involved. Although Jason Momoa can be anything he wants to be, the rest of those guys are just kind of Ben Affleck, maybe. The rest of those guys. NFL owners unanimously approved $4.65 billion sale of Denver Broncos to Walton-Penner Group, which means the Broncos now helmed by their new quarterback, ready for a new season and new life, now have a new owner. So they're totally all brand new going forward with this new season and what's going forward. Meanwhile, the NBA informed all teams that non-vaccinated players without a valid medical reason can't play in Toronto for the 2022-23 season. We saw this happen literally in baseball 2 weeks ago, where two players that weren't vaccinated, a bunch of players weren't vaccinated, but two of their stars were like, we're not vaccinated. We don't care. We read the science. We don't need to do that. And then they didn't travel to Toronto to play with their teams. This is going to happen for all NBA teams going to Toronto. So it's very serious. So it's no longer the world of people who believe the earth is flat. This comes out to be something. We have a story that we posted this morning that's not in the range here. We may come in later. It's not in our teaser. We had some else for teaser where polio is coming back. Polio is making a strong case for being back in the pandemics of doom coming up, because people who aren't getting their children vaccinated early, like everyone's doing for a while, are allowing for cases like these to come back. Polio was done. And now it's coming back because people are like, no, we don't need vaccines. That's what vaccines are all about. So, sorry, tangent. NBA is saying if you're not vaccinated against coronavirus, don't come play in Toronto. And check out this link as well. 90s Out Rock Festival Flannel Nation canceled after Everclear, Candlebox, and Filter drop out. Essentially, cornerstones of the Flannel Nation of the 90s are not playing in this concert. So it's done. If you're looking for a bit of nostalgia, 90s was a long time ago, folks. It's not happening at this concert venue coming up. Check out the link for this one and see how that's going to work out as well. If you maybe had thoughts on Flannel Nation, I should say, it is bowing out for a season. Let's talk about a teaser story that we actually picked for the day. Elon Musk unloads $7 billion in Tesla stock as he prepares for a Twitter court battle. Pretty simple. Headline says it all. He's about to fight Twitter because he said he was going to buy it. And then he changed his mind. And Twitter's like, no, you said you're going to buy it. And you changed your mind. And he said, there's way too many bots. And Twitter's like, no, there's not too many bots. And so he's got to unload on some actual cash so he can get ready for this thing because he's got to fight this. He may end up having to buy Twitter anyway because he made a promise. We'll see how that works out going forward. But if you want to work out talking more about this, going deeper into the whys and hows, you just simply vote this up in your engagement. Like it, love it, hate it, share it. The more engagement this story gets, the higher a chance we'll talk about it. If it's in the top 15, top half of the stories that are posted over the day, then we'll get it in there. I promise. Now, let's talk about money. Your money and a little bit of our money. Fundrise is a website. It is a service that allows you to buy stocks, buy interest, buy into funds for real estate, just as if you're buying stocks. Now, another one of our sponsors is Robinhood, which is known for just an app. You go on there, you look for stocks you want to, you buy them instantly. Fundrise has managers that manage these funds. So you are putting money down into a mutual fund of houses and buildings, if you will. They will give you very, very frequent reports on what they're buying, what they're selling, how things are moving, what they expect to get out of things, and where your money is going. You get very detailed explanations of how things are breaking out. And as I've told you before, I started with Fundrise a few weeks before I actually found out there was an affiliate link to it. And so I was in it for a few weeks and went into it beforehand, thought it would look good, and then joined the affiliate program. What I've gotten for the year to date is about 6% return on my money. It's not the life savings, but for what I've put in there, I've gotten 6% from that. And part of that was from the first 30 days, no advisory fees. You get free money for 30 days. Plus, after that, they are, of course, managing what you want. And I missed out on because later on, they added a chance to add some extra shares if you get in now. Now you can get those extra shares. By the way, they're working on an IPO, which if you're lucky enough and got the money and got the ways, you can get into that as well. They're allowing some people who are in certain funds into that IPO before it goes off. No word yet on the actual date. They're building up towards that. But Fundrise is doing very well in the economy. The market for houses is crazy. Fundrise is letting you get a chance to get into the market for houses without paying crazy money and doing crazy things like having to go flip houses. Go to conversationproject.com/Fundrise, and you too can be a part of the rising number of people who are really into real estate and making some actual dividends from that. You get real dividends, real money from this at Fundrise. Let's go to our news websites have notes, or websites note on all the news, of course. The main one, of course, is conversationproject.com, our main home for stuff. Find out more about what we do behind the scenes. Also, you can check out the links for our partnerships page. Maybe partner up with us. Sponsorship page, buy something from them, and it costs you nothing extra to help get us a little cut. Check those out right there at theconversationproject.com. Also, facebook.com/thisisconversationproject and twitter.com/th_conversation are our feeds. Every 50 minutes, we post a news story, headline, and link that if you engage with it on the social media, it gets a score for engagement. We pull those stats 5 o'clock in the morning every single Monday through Friday. I'll put them together in a spreadsheet, line them up, give you a score, give us a score, give you the rundown on the most engaging stories based on the ones you put in the top tier, and then us whittle them down to see which ones are more conversational and make a good narrative. You, of course, are the judge of that. Number one, by judging them in, and number two, by comments. So comments are always great as well. Comments can be sent to our TikTok at The Conversation Project, and of course, commenting on the videos at The Conversation Project YouTube page, youtube.com/The Conversation Project. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, and of course, hit notifications. 5:50 a.m. every morning, weekday morning, I should say, we will go live with this Yakky Yak thing, and we will get you into that. Now, things for today include the birthdays of Viola Davis, who is 57 years old today. Also, Joe Rogan turning 55. And Chris Hemsworth, one of the famous Chris's from one of the famous movies, who just looks like a Chris, because they all look like Chris's. He is 39 years old on this day. He, of course, is Thor, if you get confused with him and Steve Rogers and Steve Trevor and the other Chris. No, there's way too many Chris's. Son and Daughter Day. Today is a day to celebrate your sons and daughters. There's a link to go on deeper into that one, but every day is a day to celebrate your sons and daughters. They just didn't have very good, interesting holidays for the day to pick from, so we're going with Son and Daughter Day. Go ahead and embarrass your kids, because that's what parents do. They embarrass their kids, even at older age. Even when they're grandparents, they start to ruin the grandkids' lives to embarrass their kids. So go ahead, embarrass your kids to celebrate Son and Daughter Day. That's exactly how I intend on doing mine. Director's cuts of films can be a hit or miss. Usually, they miss. Good ones include director's cuts of Aliens, Justice League, Payback, and Once Upon a Time in America. I'd say Justice League is kind of an iffy one, but they wrote this. So, but no one who's seen Jurassic World Dominion, no one is begging for a director's cut, but we're getting one. It's not going to be officially called director's cut, but when the DVD and Blu-ray come out, there will be an extra 14 minutes of the directors wanted to leave in the film, but was pretty much begged to remove because, well, the movie is already overly long and overly boring. The Minions' Rotten Tomatoes score from critics is an abysmal 30%. Yes, I get these information from a news source, and yes, it's written in his voice. I did not do any editing this one, and so he does not want a director's cut of Jurassic World Dominion, or he says people don't want one. I didn't see it. I don't care. I'm done. Thursday, August 11, 2022 edition of Things You Might Have Heard is in the books. Thank you so much for being with us for the day. What do you think about the sweater? Let me know what you think about me actually putting on clothes for these things, whether it's working or not working. Looks like today we're having some issues with our connectivity. I'm seeing my little low internet thing pop up there, so I will have to go smack the internet box again, see what's going on. Different setup in the house. I don't have the direct plug in like I did back when my office contained the internet box. So we're trying to make things work as best as possible. We've had some issues in the neighborhood as well with power and internet because storms. I'm going to be happy that it's only 89 degrees here in August in Arkansas, but I do like my electricity and I don't want to be wet all day. So that is what it is. Thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you, my big man, Josh, for being out there, keeping an eye on us. Thank you to my mother-in-law, Sharon, and of course, Christina with a K, checking in on the day as well. Comments always warranted. Make sure you stay hydrated, stay limber, and stay on task. I got to work on those lights so I can not white balance with my white mug, because we need you around for great things to come. I'm out. Let's do this again tomorrow.